Hey everyone, welcome to a pretty serious video where I read one of my most anticipated manga series, Blood on the Tracks by Shuzo Oshimi. This series denotes a very peculiar relationship between a mother and his son. I don't know much about it, but I do know that it is abusive, to say the least. It's literally thundering right now. That's so funny. So foreboding. Now, while I don't know the relationship or how it's going to be in this horror manga, I decided to read this for Mother's Day because Mother's Day is a hard time for me. I have mommy issues. And they're not talked about enough, okay? Daddy issues are more socially acceptable than mommy issues. I'm blessed with both, but today we're going to talk about mother relationships that are toxic, unnatural, and abusive. I'm going to use that as my trigger warning for this video. It's going to be probably mostly solemn, just sharing my thoughts and vlogging, reading this. And if you make it to the end, there's going to be a little bit of a bonus clip for those of you who might relate to me in that regard, where you might not have the best relationship with your mother. I do think I'm still gonna have a lot of fun reading this series, even though this video and reading it is surrounded by this framework of Mother's Day, which is a holiday that is always very difficult for me. And if you stick to the end of the video, there's going to be a message for those of you who might feel that they don't have the best relationship with their mother. Now, I'm not saying that my relationship with my mother is going to be anything like Seiichi's relationship with his mother. I'm just using this as, an excuse to finally read this series that I've been wanting to read for years now, but just never took the plunge, / was waiting for it to complete, which I still need the final volume. But we're going to start it tonight because Mother's Day is approaching and I want to get this out on time. I'm going to be using this also as a touchstone to speak upon how abusive mothers exist, and while society gives men the freedom to be an abusive father and having it seem almost normal or more accepted, I find that abusive mothers are more taboo than they should be because we don't get to choose our parents. So it's unfair that mothers are held to this higher echelon when they are also just people with problems that can be abusive. Anyway, without further ado, let's start Blood on the Tracks. Okay, that was crazy. immediately to volume 2 because oh my god, that's terrifying. That is going to give me nightmares. I'm now on volume 3 and consider me disturbed. I read the first 2 volumes in, I want to say, like less than an hour, and it absolutely gripped me. The ending of volume 1 alone absolutely hooked me. I have to know what happens next, how this series is going to end. Whew. Every second is filled with dread and anxiety, and the page turns in this manga are incredible. I mean, Shuzo Oshimi is really at his peak here. I definitely see the resemblance now with Bates Motel. I would say that is pretty apt description. Things are already so bad, and it's only been 2 volumes. I can't imagine what will happen by the end of the 17th. I feel so much worry for Seiichi and everyone that's close to him. They are all in danger. And yeah, wow. If you haven't read this one, I highly recommend. I might have to get into spoilers later on, so let this be your warning. But as of right now, my first impressions, this could be Shuzo Oshimi's magnum opus. I'm calling it now. This is gonna be hard to top already. I do love that Shuzo Oshimi does focus a lot on human nature and what we are capable of and mental illness. Enough rambling. I have to read on, and yeah, can't get enough. Just finished the first 7 volumes. It looks like this is the mother when she was in high school, so maybe we'll learn a bit more about her backstory. And then I've noticed that volumes after this one start turning to red, like blood. So I'm thinking maybe this is a good stopping point for the night. It is very late. It's gaining on 1 a.m. But I wanted to share some thoughts real quick. Absolutely insane. So many things have happened. Spoiler warning. The end of volume 4, that's probably one of the most terrifying scenes I've ever seen. Ignore my wallpaper. Wallpaper engine is so weird sometimes. That scene with Sei and what's her name? Fukishimi? Why don't I know her name? Fukishi? Sei and his girlfriend ran and like hid in a field, in a very tall field from his mother, and she was just saying everything she was doing to him. Like, sorry, were you upset that I choked you? The fact that she's starting to turn on Sei as well, a little bit relatable, not going to lie. Not to this extent, but it is really scary what his mom is capable of. That scene, and then the choking scene was terrifying, and just It's just definitely heading into the Bates Motel area much quicker than I imagined, but I guess I am, like almost halfway through? I feel so bad for Say. He was having a moment where he couldn't really speak. I'm sure he feels like he doesn't have a voice. Also, I did notice some really interesting juxtaposition between the dead cat with his mom in the beginning that keeps coming up over and over again. And then the cute cat that we meet when he's with his girlfriend. Why can't I remember her name? Poor girl. She deserves better. But I mean, she's in a horror manga, so unlucky. I think now I need to decompress and maybe read more of my silly little light novel that I've been reading, or watch some happy cat videos because, oh my god. Oh, I also wanted to talk about Shige. I just left off the end of volume 7 with Shige. He's now awake from his coma, and now he remembers that he was pushed by Sei's mom. So I'm thinking the mom and Sei are gonna run off together somewhere, and the police are gonna have to get involved. Like, it's so frustrating to watch Sei's father just ignore or not take seriously all of these red flags. But, I mean, yeah, that's pretty realistic, unfortunately. I'm just like, how is this gonna end without Sei's mother getting killed or dying in some fashion? Like, I think Sei is going to have to be the one to do it. For some reason, I just can't picture the police getting involved. I don't know. It's definitely making me think, which is another sign that this manga is really good. So, yeah, maybe I will read this one, and then that'll be about the halfway point. Okay, one more. Just one more. I'm back, and I finally have volume 17. It just arrived the other day, and I've been eagerly anticipating continuing this series because I did end up reading volume 8 before I stopped a few days ago now, and that was the perfect volume to stop at because shit is going down. They are so screwed. And just remembering everything that's happened so far, absolute insanity. Definitely very different from my experience with my mother, although there are times. Anyway, I have volumes 9 through 17 left. How is this going to end? Legitimately, I keep thinking about it, and I know that I said that I thought that the mom would have to die, and there is still a huge part of me that does think that. Another part of me thinks that she'll be put into jail or kill her son and just get away, just run away. I don't know. Those are my 3 big theories for how this series will end. But as of right now, again, spoiler alert for all of them, all of the volumes so far. But the end of volume 8, she confessed to throwing that boy off the cliff. She confessed. What do you mean she confessed? I thought she was gonna take that one to her grave. So now it's time for the police to get involved. And I'm not really super looking forward to that being introduced into this story. Don't get me wrong, it absolutely makes sense, and she should absolutely be held responsible. That's not what I mean. I mean, I just kind of preferred the nuances of just mother and son, and now it's including a lot more people, you know. Not that it didn't include people outside of those two, but do you know what I mean? Anyway, it is time for volume 9. This is when they start looking bloody. Also, this volume looks a bit bigger, no? They're looking a little bit bigger. At least the next few, which don't threaten me with a good time. Seiichi, yeah, he's not gonna get out of this one in one piece. That kid is fucked up. I did hear that there was a part about the midway in the series where things change. I think I might have stopped it at the correct spot. Let me know if I did or not. Enough rambling, enough rambling. I'm sure I'll come back and I'm gonna scream about things that are happening and lose my mind. Let's just start reading. Okay, before I even begin, chapter 69 is the chapter that I happen to be on currently, and it's titled All Hell Breaks Loose. Oh, bitch, I'm so ready. Okay, this is absolutely insane. And everything that's happening right now, oh my god. Like, I'm losing my fucking mind. But in the midst of all of that, I'm like, does the mom kind of look like me? Like low key? Because there she is. And then if I take off my glasses, I don't know. I think I kind of look insane without my glasses. But like, do you see what I mean? Is it just the haircut? Please, I have a big forehead. I need bangs. Okay, but I'm pissed off at the father too because there's no way you wouldn't notice that something was wrong if you were truly being an active part of the family. And then after his mother gets taken away and they're heading towards the police station, I understand he wants to be there too. But leaving Seiichi alone and telling him he'll be fine because he's a boy, that just ain't right. Oh my god. Of course the police want to talk to Seiichi because he was there. Is Seiichi going to tell the truth? Or not? That will truly muddy the waters if he begins to lie for his mother again. Crazy. I wonder if he could save her with a lie even though she admitted to it. Peep the color pages. Oh my god. He decided to tell the truth? Honestly, was not seeing that one coming. That's crazy. Also, props to this officer for, or I guess maybe he's a detective, for telling Seiichi you are your own person. Your thoughts, feelings, and experiences are valuable. You belong to yourself. That was very powerful for him. I think he really needed to hear that. Something I've noticed throughout all of the volumes that I didn't really know how to articulate until now is Sei is walking the trail with police officers and he keeps seeing his mother watching him in a sort of distorted view. And that is a haunting depiction of what parental abuse does, because that stays with you the rest of your life. You're never going to get over it or forget that it happened to you. And it definitely does change you. Can Sei recover from this? I think with the right help, he definitely could. I think you can always come back from anything. Humans are resilient, but I don't know that Sei will get the help that he needs, and he is extremely traumatized, obviously, as anyone would be in his situation. And it's honestly just breaking my heart right now. But very great storytelling. Kind of makes me wonder about Shuzo Oshimi, like, is that man okay? Damn. What the heck? What the? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, I just made it to the chapter Blood on the Tracks. This is a wild ride. I'm gonna mic myself up for this part. Oh my god! What? Holy shit. Okay, now I'm even more pissed off at the dad because how the fuck? How do you just... What? Okay, this is the craziest volume because we finally got to see that flashback. Oh my god. This is definitely the core of the series, so I'm glad that it's called Blood on the Tracks because what the fuck? I don't think I even want to give that one away in this vlog. Even though this is a spoiler vlog. Yeah, you're just gonna have to read it for yourself for that one. Okay, volume 10, I guess. Hold on, let's make it spooky in here. That's a bit better. Now then, where was I? Ah, yes. Abuse and trauma. Not me learning what glommed is because of this manga. I've never heard that word before in my life. Okay, finally the father is taking some responsibility and accountability here. He wants to have a good talk with mommy before they divorce and move. Obviously they need to stay in town for the rest of the investigation. I do wonder what's going to come from her psych eval. And I don't know, is he going to divorce her? I don't know. I think he might be down bad for this crazy bitch. Anyway, the father is still on my shit list. This scene healed something in me. Thank you. I feel very seen in this moment. The two different Shiges. Which one is real? Shige's now Shige. Oh my god, wait. I meant to say Sei. She got my head too. The different Seis. Which one's real? Obviously, Sei is the victim. He's a child who was treated horribly by a parent, which formed him into who he is today. Which, he's not doing so hot. But of course, children who are abused often blame themselves a lot for what happened to them, because there must be a reason for everything that happened. And so maybe I'm just the problem. I thought that a lot too growing up. But you are not the problem, okay? Some people just honestly shouldn't be parents. I said it. I don't think everyone's cut out for it. But society does pressure women, especially, to have children. That's a whole different conversation. We don't need to get into it. But perhaps Seiichi's mother was pushed too far and, just wasn't capable of stepping up to being a mother. And so, in a way, she's a victim too of societal expectations. As Sayaka Murata once said in Earthlings, she became part of the factory in order to survive, which is really fucking sad. It's 9 o'clock. I thought I'd be done with this in an hour, but I'm on volume 11. My boyfriend's screaming in the other room playing video games, and I'm over here screaming at manga. Okay, so, we were in Seiichi's mind for quite a bit, and he feels he's to blame. He deserves to die for bringing so much misery to his mother's life. In his mind, he was killing himself. But in reality, he pushed Shige off a cliff. Man, Shige and cliffs, bro. When he appeared out of nowhere, I thought it was another bad dream plaguing Sei. But in fact, Shige... How did Shige walk to Sei's house in the middle of the night and just ask him, basically, to kill him? And Sei mentally snapped and then obliged in the end. And now he's in trouble with the cops. Oh my god. They're just gonna get locked up. I don't know at this point. It's just, Jesus Christ. Can you give the kid a break? So Sei's birthday is March 19th. Oh my god, he's a Pisces. That explains a lot. I'm just kidding. I was just curious. I also forgot to mention that when Sei was in his mind, or actually it was after that, after he killed himself / Shige, he had a butterfly go into his mouth. Obviously, this is a metaphor. There were butterflies on the cliff. When his mother pushed Shige, butterflies signify change or transformation. I think this is a new Sei, y'all. So I'm going to treat him as a new character because he's definitely gone through a significant transformation, I would say. But that ends volume 11. Bruh.
I just finished chapter 111, and as you can see, I'm not okay. Wow. The blue cover, very apt. Very apt. This is hitting very close to home. You know, it's really special when art can affect you like this, especially because of how much you can relate to certain parts of it. Yeah, I'm glad I decided to make this video, even though I'm a mess right now. I just think blood on the tracks is important, and I'm glad that it exists. And if you think you could handle it, I would say I recommend it. It's not easy at times to read, but my god, I wish I could draw. I know I could learn the skill if I want. I don't really enjoy drawing. I'm more of a writer. But if I could, I would probably make a manga like this. Yeah, just thank you. And thanks for watching me blabber on about this manga. This is a very selfish video, I must admit, to make. I'm really just making this for myself. So if you're still watching and enjoying my commentary, then, well, thanks for being here too. It's nice not being alone, isn't it? All right. Well, let me get myself together and we'll continue. Oh my god. Now I feel terrible for blaming the father all this time. Oh my god. Ouch. Sei really only had his father, and of course it was strained. I mean, how can you not hold some contempt for him? But, oh my god. It hurts because it's so real. Yeah, even when it's really just one parent who is the abusive one, it takes the other one to look the other way in order for the abuse to be perpetrated. That guilt, you know, he should feel guilty, but oh my god, the way that it's so sad. It really is so sad now. It's just like, you know, what do you do with the rest of your life after all of these events? And sometimes you don't get the help that you need, and you don't know what to do with the rest of your life. So you're just kind of going through the motions, like Sei is, you know, get a job, make enough to have your own little apartment, eat, sleep, repeat. My god, this vlog has become so depressing. I mean, you know, obviously it's a serious subject matter, but I did not expect to get this emotional. Anyways, volume 13, my lucky number, by the way. The cover really should have tipped me off that this one was gonna destroy me. It's been a while since Sei and his mother have interacted for obvious reasons. And he gets a phone call from the police saying that, they found Seiko, his mother, just wandering around aimlessly, and she was kicked out of her apartment and things don't look great, so could you please come see her? And he is still unable to say no. He feels compelled to see her. He has to. She's been haunting him his entire life. And this person, this officer, as he's bringing Sei in, and Sei is quite frankly freaking the fuck out. This officer tells him, that he had problems with his family too, but in the end, nothing can replace a parent. Basically saying, like, family is family, and you need to essentially make it work. And I think a lot of people have this mindset even today. But here's the thing. We don't get to choose our parents. We don't have to force ourselves to be around people who treat us horribly, even if they're our parent, even if it breaks our heart to do so. No child is out here cutting contact with a parent for silly, shallow reasons. Trust me, us kids, the children of abusers, we feel the draw strongly to stay and forgive and make things work because that's your mom. How could you stop talking to your mother? This struck a nerve because I was told the same thing too when I confided in a friend when I was younger. And they also went on to tell me, well, it was probably your fault. You were probably at fault for this one particular argument that I was describing. And he said, you're probably being overdramatic. It was probably your fault because, you're the child. I don't blame him for saying that anymore just because he was a child too. We were teenagers and he had a different life, a different perspective where he probably couldn't imagine that about his own parents. It just felt like life was inherently unfair. We don't get to choose our parents. Imagine how heartbroken we are when the person that is supposed to love us unconditionally and protect us is our first bully, is the first person to bring us harm, the first person to drag us down and to the dirt and tell us we will never be good enough for their standards. Let me tell you, that does some psychological damage, and it stays with you. It stays with you, even if you've had help, which I have thankfully had access to. And, that never stops. I'm never going to stop needing help. And Sei never got that. I know in Japan, too, mental health is only taken seriously once, a crime has been committed or someone's loses their life or something happens to that extreme extent, and it's really, really tragic. Mental health is very important. I would love for one day to see a world where everyone can agree upon that. But until then, I'll just connect to art and keep existing and trying my best.
Oh my god.
I had no idea there was an excerpt at the end of this novel from Shuzo Oshimi. He created this because of the feelings he has in himself and the relationship he had with his own mother. This was supposed to be some kind of revenge for that and to spread what he calls the curse to other people. And he clearly feels a lot of guilt for being able to marry and have his own children instead of suffering alone like he thinks he deserves to. Wow. I mean, I was wondering about Shuzo Oshimi. Like, this series is just so potent, and a lot of it is very accurate to my own feelings with my mother and how abusive she was towards me, and how I've been dealing with that in my in my 30s. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense that Shuzo Oshimi went through something similar. Wow. I sincerely wish him the best. Somehow I still have 3 more volumes to go. I'm rooting for Sei to... I'm holding this upside down. I'm rooting for Sei to be as okay as is possible for him. The situation is so shitty though. So, oh my god. It's taken a lot out of me. Wow, this manga utterly destroyed me. This is a lot deeper than I think a lot of people give it credit for, but then again, a lot of people don't have the experience that I've had in life. Shuzo Oshimi made me feel seen. Even though it was a selfish creation, he said himself that he needed to make that manga in order to survive. In my own way, I'm making this video to help myself survive. If you've reached the end of this video, thank you for watching. It was a very emotional one, a very personal one. I don't really expect anyone to watch it, but if you did, let me know by leaving a blood drop in the comments. And yeah, before I wrap up this video, Past Me wants to give a little speech to those of you who may relate to this manga, Shuzo Oshimi, or myself. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. Now this section of the video is not having to do with manga, but for the people that feel their mother or their relationship with their mother may be toxic or abusive. To you, who's struggling, I've been where you are. I'm still struggling with it, and I will for my entire life. But that being said, I survived and I got out of that situation. And while I won't speak about the details, it was incredibly abusive and toxic and unhealthy for me. I spoke a little bit in the intro about how mothers, they can do no wrong because that's your mother. And how dare you speak about that? You are the child, so clearly you must be the one at fault. I was told this by a friend. I harbor no ill will towards him. In fact, I was jealous that he had this outlook. We don't get to choose our parents. And at that point, I had realized that not everyone was living in the way that I was living. This is a very taboo topic. Mothers seemingly can do no wrong. And I'm here to tell you that that's simply not true. Mothers are not inhuman, they are people, just like everyone else. They can make mistakes, they can do wrong, they can be horrible to their children. You know, if I were to tell someone, oh, my father was horrible to me, it would be more easily socially accepted. So I wanted to break the mold and speak about it a little bit and use this silly little manga video on Mother's Day to do so. It's not easy, but you're not alone. There are many of us, and while we are silent, mostly because we have been silenced, I'm letting you know that you've at least got me. And while I didn't think I would get through it, here I stand, reading manga on YouTube. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.